I want to start with something you've probably experienced before, but maybe never fully understood. You spend time around people, friends, coworkers, family, a party, a social gathering. Nothing bad happens, nobody argues, nobody hurts you. And yet, when you finally get home, you feel exhausted. Not physically exhausted, emotionally exhausted, like your energy slowly disappeared during the interaction. And sometimes, you need hours to recover. Silence, distance, being alone again. And the strange part is, you often feel guilty for it, because you think, why am I so drained? Other people seem fine. Why does socializing feel like work for me? So the question becomes, why do some people feel tired after being around groups? Let's break it down. The first reason is overstimulation. Groups create constant mental input, voices, movement, conversations, social signals, energy shifts, noise, and your brain processes all of it automatically, especially if you're emotionally sensitive or highly observant. Because while other people may filter out unnecessary stimulation, your nervous system keeps absorbing it, which means your brain is working the entire time. The second reason is social monitoring. A lot of people don't relax fully in groups. They monitor themselves constantly. How do I sound? Am I talking enough? Do I fit into this conversation? Am I being awkward? And that self-monitoring consumes energy, because instead of naturally existing inside the interaction, part of your attention stays focused on managing yourself. The third reason is emotional scanning. Some people unconsciously track the emotional atmosphere around them. Who feels uncomfortable? Who seems distant? Who changed tone? Who looks irritated? And even if you're not doing this consciously, your nervous system still processes those emotional signals, which means social environments become emotionally heavy over time. The fourth reason is masking. Many people adapt their personality around groups automatically. They become more filtered, more socially acceptable, more careful, not fake, just adjusted. And the problem is, performing socially for long periods becomes exhausting, because your nervous system never fully relaxes. The fifth reason is introverted recovery patterns. Some nervous systems recharge internally, not through stimulation, not through constant interaction, but through quiet, stillness, low emotional demand, which means even positive social experiences can become draining after enough time. Not because you dislike people, but because your nervous system eventually runs out of emotional energy. The sixth reason is emotional sensitivity. Highly sensitive people often absorb emotional environments deeply. Tension, excitement, anxiety, pressure, even subtle emotional shifts inside a group can affect them strongly. Because emotionally sensitive nervous systems process social experiences with much greater intensity. The seventh reason is lack of emotional safety. Sometimes groups feel exhausting because part of you never fully feels safe inside them. Not necessarily unsafe physically, emotionally unsafe. Like you need to stay alert, careful, socially aware, and a nervous system that stays alert for hours eventually becomes tired. The eighth reason is overexposure. Large groups rarely allow the brain to rest. Someone is always talking. Something is always happening. Your attention is constantly moving. And eventually, your nervous system becomes overloaded. Not dramatically, quietly. The kind of exhaustion where you suddenly crave silence. The ninth reason is emotional pressure. Groups often create invisible expectations. Be interesting. Be social. Participate. Respond correctly. Keep the energy going. And even subtle pressure like that consumes mental energy over time. Now here's where it gets important. Feeling drained after social interaction doesn't automatically mean something is wrong with you. And it doesn't necessarily mean you hate people. Sometimes it simply means your nervous system processes social environments very deeply. The real problem begins when you start judging yourself for needing recovery afterward. Because then you turn natural nervous system exhaustion into shame. But here's the truth most people never realize. Different nervous systems recover differently. Some people recharge through stimulation. Others recharge through solitude. Neither is wrong. And understanding that changes everything. Because once you stop fighting your natural recovery pattern, you stop feeling guilty for needing space. You stop forcing yourself to socialize past your emotional limit. And you begin recognizing something important. Rest is not weakness. Recovery is not failure. Your nervous system is simply asking for balance. And once you begin respecting that balance, social interaction starts feeling different, less overwhelming, less performative, less emotionally consuming, because now you allow yourself to leave before exhaustion turns into emotional shutdown. You allow yourself silence without guilt, and slowly, your relationship with people becomes healthier, not because you suddenly became more social, but because you stopped abandoning your own emotional needs, just to appear socially normal. And maybe that's the real shift, not forcing yourself to tolerate endless stimulation, but learning how to stay connected to people without disconnecting from yourself in the process. And once you begin understanding that, you notice something else too. A lot of social exhaustion doesn't come from the people themselves. It comes from how much energy your nervous system spends adapting around them, adjusting your tone, your behavior, your reactions, your emotions, trying to stay socially aware the entire time. And eventually, that constant adjustment becomes mentally heavy, especially if you're someone who naturally absorbs environments deeply. Because emotionally aware people rarely experience groups passively. They feel the atmosphere, the tension, the emotional shifts, the unspoken dynamics, even when nobody else notices them. And over time, that creates a very specific kind of exhaustion. Not physical exhaustion, nervous system exhaustion, the kind where silence suddenly feels healing. The kind where being alone feels like finally taking a deep breath again. And here's the part most people misunderstand. Wanting solitude after social interaction doesn't automatically mean you dislike people. Sometimes it simply means your nervous system needs lower stimulation to recover. Just like muscles need rest after physical effort, your mind sometimes needs emotional stillness after constant social processing. And once you stop judging yourself for that, something changes. You stop forcing yourself to stay longer than your energy allows. You stop treating recovery like weakness, and you begin building a healthier relationship with your own limits. Because emotionally healthy people don't ignore exhaustion constantly. They learn how to listen to it. And maybe that's the real goal. Not becoming someone who never gets drained around people, but becoming someone who understands how to stay socially connected without emotionally overwhelming their nervous system in the process.